METS Ignited is the Industry Growth Centre for Mining Equipment, Technology and Services, funded by the Federal Government's Department of Industry, Science, Energy and Resources. The role of Industry Growth Centres is to accelerate the commercialisation of innovation, to enhance industry skills and capabilities, and to grow exports in areas where Australia has a proven competitive advantage. Australia's METS sector is a recognised world leader in innovation and technology, delivering the safety, environmental and productivity outcomes that sustain our global resources sector. METS Ignited is focused on the local commercialisation of these technologies, not only for the mining industry, but for the benefit of all industry sectors. We do this by investing in collaborative projects, bringing together mining companies with METS vendors, researchers and investors to deliver our world-leading technology and innovation in a commercially viable way. We provide training and support, helping our technology innovators productize their solutions to meet the needs of both the local market and to expand their offerings internationally. METS Ignited also supports the various industry and research associations, orchestrating their activities, promoting and coordinating the delivery of their various programs across the sector. As a global leader, the success of Australia's METS companies has created more highly skilled jobs and expanded the local economic contribution of Australia's leading technology sector. There is increasing global demand for our expertise in areas such as robotics and automation, data and analytics, as well as our highly experienced and capable engineering services. This is driving our future skills development. We see the energy sector, space, defence, and the agriculture industry all building upon our experience, particularly in our remote and regional communities where these skills are needed most. As a leading technology sector, we must continually evolve, transforming the way our industry operates. The demand for critical minerals, sustainable energy, and reuse and recycling are all key themes for our future. We can be proud of the way the METS sector has addressed the challenges of safety, sustainability, and the future needs of our energy industry. METS Ignited is accepting the responsibility to ensure that we have the skills and the technology to remain safe, to be sustainable, and that we commercialise our innovative solutions to make sure they are available for all. METS Ignited is driving outcomes, enabling our future, so we can continue to deliver on society's future resources needs.
Not be afraid of any specific discipline. Make sure you're all over everything and have an understanding. If people talk about your accounts or your marketing or your sales or technical aspects, you really need to understand things and always have a beginner's attitude. Don't think you know everything. Always assume you've got something to learn from other people.
Product market fit, really identifying a key pain point from the sector or sectors that hasn't been solved yet, and through constant iteration and experimentation, coming up with a fit for purpose solution to really simplify, standardize, and facilitate that industry collaboration and sharing. So that's the first one. A second one has definitely been to have a strong team. Obviously, you're only as good as the people around you, and it's definitely been a team effort to get to this point. I'm sort of proud to say that person for person, everyone's very much exceptional at what they do in our business, and we'll build a really strong culture around that as well, and that includes having great advisors and mentors around me. The move towards cloud-based systems, and the acknowledgement that sort of the large traditional ERPs can't do everything, and things like industry collaboration, where organizations are increasingly looking outside their own sort of four walls to look for solutions and to standardize across industries. Transient workers in a gig economy, where workers are moving around more and more between organizations, individuals wanting to have more ownership and control over their own data and being empowered in a way that they haven't been before.
Well, about 5 years ago, the company was bought from the founders by a private equity company when the product was sort of commercialized. But the aim was then to not just commercialize further, but to, as we call it, globalize. So at that point in time, we had one office here in Brisbane in Australia, and we serviced 60 customers around the globe. And we decided at that point to globalize. What we needed to do is to go where our customers were. And today we've gone from those 60 customers to 140 customers in 42 countries. We've established offices in North America, South America, Africa, and in Russia. And basically we went to where our customers were. That was what we set out to do. And in that process, in the last 5 years, we've actually managed to triple our revenue in a 4-year period.
A preparedness to take risks is sort of buried there. It's probably at an individual level, it's trying something new that no one else is doing and being uncomfortable in that space. But at a team level, it's about pushing time frames and taking technical risk at some level while still having budgets and obligations to fulfill. A bias to action, which is testing business and technical ideas, which can be frustrating because things don't work. You back up, but we're always learning and accumulating some knowledge out of that, which we can take to the next problem. Not reinventing the wheel has been a big part of what we've been doing. We've been trying to use existing technology where possible, and there's a massive amount of research we've done. We've found it's underutilized, and the challenge is how to take this existing knowledge and fashion it into some valuable products.
Going too hard too early in the process, trying to push people when they're not ready. And we certainly did that in the early years with great frustration. Oh, why can't people see this is so obviously the right thing to do? And look, a lot of the METS out there are early adopters and innovators who will have that same frustration. You can't push people faster than they're ready to go. You've got to allow them the time. This being more patient, being willing to explain to people, let them vent their concerns and ask their questions and just calmly answer them.
The larger picture is scaling UFR to a bigger business. We've now multiple customers, and we've got a strategic plan to get to 1,000 units in the field within 5 years, which makes us a sort of serious business.
One of the first things we did is we went on a one-day free seminar for digital transformations through METS Ignited. And that sort of was very transformational for our business because it was both me and our technical director. And it really formed a vision for us about where things are going in the future. And that meant we were well positioned to take quick action when we saw the right opportunities come our way. So we started really digging in and looking even at things like funding and consulting services through the Entrepreneurs Program that was available. And that all, I suppose, led to the collaboration and the new joint venture that we started with IQ. And we also accessed funding from METS Ignited, which was basically like an accelerated commercialization and collaboration funding. And that was transformational for that business. That business now well up and running. You'll quickly find that maybe you don't know everything, and maybe you can't take the whole cake, but you can make the cake a lot bigger if you collaborate with other people.
We sought as much support as we could, and I encourage all companies to do that, So I mentioned earlier the R&D tax incentive, because we're bringing new to market technology and we've invested heavily in R&D over the last 7 years. We've taken advantage of that program and continue to invest in that. On the Accelerating Commercialization Program, we've been fortunate to have received 3 grants since 2013, and they've really helped us get through that valley of death and When we received our first grant in 2013, we had 2 staff. Now we've got 37 and growing. So the industry growth centres have been really key as well, of which METS is a part of. And we've been working obviously with METS Ignited in recent times and partnering with the state government, with Victorian Department of Health Services for their We Volunteer project and mobilising volunteers to help vulnerable Victorians for COVID. So
you need to be able to pivot and change your mind and change things, and don't think about the historical cost that you've invested in time and cost into a certain direction or a certain product. That's in the past. So you always need to look forward.
We used Export Market Development Grant for many years. We exhausted our 6 or 7 years or whatever the limit is. We used the Research and Development Tax benefits, which is very useful in funding, providing funding while we were developing some of these techniques and making a loss. Once you start making a profit, that's less interesting. METS Ignited had some coaching and advice. We went through one of your formal programs in terms of helping guide the business, which was very good, I have to say. There was a number of points came out of that we did adopt about our marketing push, mostly to do with marketing, not the technicalities of the business. And it helped a lot. So I recommend that to anybody. And we're all human. We know what we know, and we don't know what we don't know. And particularly running a business, all of a sudden you've got so many angles to the business that we're not all expert in all of these things. You probably are by the time you retire, but not when you start out. So being open to suggestion, being open to advice, and we took that advice. That's made a big difference, I have to say.